Hello, this is my presentation about materials designed for face-to-face environments. What type of materials should be included in English language teaching? When teaching English, a variety of materials should be included taking into account several aspects. They are novelty, unusual topics, variety, breaking monotony, attractive presentation, colorful content, appealing content, interesting themes, engaging stories, and achievable tasks, which encourage students to learn. Anyway, I think that all materials are useful, but they should be used in a proper way and in the appropriate level and style of the learner. The principles of second language acquisition relevant to the development of materials for language teaching. Materials should help learners to feel at ease. Although pressure can stimulate some learners, most researchers agree with the concept that when students feel anxious, uncomfortable, or tense, they do not achieve their best, and learners should face materials that make them feel relaxed or help them to learn instead of being tested. Materials should help learners to develop confidence. Relaxed and self-confident learners learn faster. Dulay, Burt, and Crash in 1992. Materials and activities should help students getting a better proficiency level by doing stimulating and challenging activities, but which are achievable too. What is being taught should be perceived by learners as relevant and useful. When students become aware of the importance of what is being taught, they seem more interested. It can be achieved by relating them to real-life tasks and topics which are relevant to them. Learners must be ready to acquire the points being taught. Students must have the prior knowledge to receive the new information. According to Krashen, each learner will only learn from the new input what he or she is ready to learn. Material should expose the learners to language in authentic use. Exposure to authentic use of the target language is necessary but not sufficient for the acquisition of the language. It is very important the use of materials and activities which expose learners to authentic input, like interviewing a teacher, listening to the radio, or a conversation, according to the communication skills and level of the student. The learner's attention should be drawn to linguistic features of the input. This does not mean attention must be placed on grammar, taking into account that this could be a conscious or a subconscious step, and many learners understand particular features of their inner language and the target language. Materials should provide the learners with opportunities to use the target language to achieve communicative purposes. It is also very challenging and attractive to students the creation of stories and dialogues where they feel comfortable with, speaking and interacting communicatively with peers and outer audience. Materials should take into account that the positive effects of instruction are usually delayed. Related to this aspect, all people who have been learning or acquiring a second or foreign language know that this is a long-term process. Usually, learners are exposed to a determining feature, but they are not necessarily able to use adequately in the same lesson. In addition, they could have understood the feature and worked with it correctly, but this does not guarantee the same performance the next week. Materials should take into account that learners differ in learning styles. This is a very important aspect to pay attention to. All learners differ from their styles of getting knowledge. Some are visual, others are auditive, some are analytic, dependent, global, etc. That is why materials design plays a very prominent role in this area. Materials should take into account that learners differ in affective attitudes. Similar to the above topic, as it is said by Dulay, Burt, and Crash in 1992, emotions, motives, and attitudes screen what it is presented in class, but this is an individual affective screening which results vary according to every single student. Materials should maximize learning potential by encouraging intellectual, aesthetic, and emotional involvement, which stimulates both right and left brain activities. The content of the material should not be trivial or banal, looking for stimulation of thoughts and feelings in the learners. It is also important that the activities are not too simple and they cannot be too easily achieved without the learners making use of their previous experience and their brains. Materials should not rely too much on controlled practice. According to Ellis and Rathbone 1987, controlled practice seems to be or to have little impact on fluency. It means it is more functional to expose learners to communicative scenes than memorizing dialogues and structures, and it is considered as a loss of time by many researchers. Materials should provide opportunities for outcome feedback. Materials should also be created with the purpose of intended outcomes rather than just practicing language. Feedback is helpful when focused on the outcome other than the mere production of sentences. Thank you very much for looking at this presentation. Bye bye.